During Andor Season 2 there have been few scenes that made me question what was going on, but undoubtedly Andor has been a triumph for Star Wars fans. But with any Star Wars series there's always going to be things that don't make sense or seem a little strange. In Episode 3, Lieutenant Kroll's attempt to sexually assault Bix Caleen felt Star Wars was entering into new realms not previously explored in live-action TV or movies. When watching this scene for the first time and since, it made me feel unsettled how this scene played out. Despite realising characters like Lieutenant Kroll exist in Star Wars and far worse has happened, but not so graphically portrayed. The scene was very well acted, providing a hard-hitting version of Star Wars content never seen before. However, a later scene in the series would make me question a decision Bix Caleen eventually makes. Another strangely interesting scene in Episode 3 was the family meeting between Cyril Khan, Dedra Meero, and Cyril's mother, Edie. It was a unique scene in the series just because of its domesticated nature, but when Edie asked Dedra about her family, the scene takes a strange turn into the reason why Dedra conducts herself as a character in the Imperial hierarchy. Dedra's awkward story of having no family due to their criminal arrests when she was 3 years old and going on to be raised by an Imperial kinderblock would always have been an odd introduction to her family life in any situation. But in that moment it profoundly explained so much about her in an instant, but also dampened the traditional spirit of the meeting. Moving on, in Episode 8, in the aftermath of the Gorman massacre, Dedra Meero retreats to her safe house inside the Imperial Plaza complex. A powerful scene in the sense that Dedra's rush of mournful emotion upon knowing Cyril Khan is dead truly showed a personality built on strength and non-emotional attachments had finally got to her once losing probably the most meaningful person in her entire personal life. It was strange when considering her mini emotional breakdown, but given her circumstances, truly understandable at the stress of Imperial service, coupled with the loss of someone who truly meant something to her, finally surfaced. From Episode 10 is this scene between Claire Markey and Luthen Rael, talking on a busy stairway on Coruscant. Immediately after Rael has killed Lonnie Young, once learning of the hugely high-stakes intelligence, explaining the existence of the Imperial superweapon, the Death Star. Rael and Claire meet on a busy stairway discussing highly sensitive information in earshot of people walking past them. Did anyone else think this was odd? If these two were going to discuss their next steps, then at least they would talk somewhere a little more private. I just found this decision to talk in public very strange, given the high stakes and the highly sensitive information and names talked about in the scene. In the final episode of the series, when seeing Bix Caleen had returned to Mina-Rau and united with former friends, as she walks into the cornfield for the ending scene carrying hers and Cassian's child, I was surprised Bix thought it was a safe environment to bring up her child, given the memory of Lieutenant Kroll's attack on her, plus the threat that the Empire would return to conduct another supply census audit. Did you have any similar thoughts during these scenes, or did you spot other strange scenes which felt odd to watch? As always, thanks for watching.